Know what I've been waiting for. It feels like I'm always losing my way. I'm doubting every step I take. I know that everything finds its place, although I wish I knew where to. I guess I'll have to see it through, oh, through and through. Oh, through and through, I'll find my way to you, though all in it may take me some time. Oh, through and through. I will be there for you, even if we may seek a separate life. Oh. A simple feeling that I can't seem to shake. Oh my love, you drive me crazy in the loveliest way. I stay up all night just thinking about the things that you say. I call your phone and hope to hear your voice, and all over again I am in love. Make me fall in love, why don't you just make me fall in love again? I can't deny it, I'm in love. I walk through this familiar scene with flowers blooming, sun that's shining through the leaves and the trees. Don't like to ask too many questions, hate to complicate things, so baby won't you help me understand just what it means to be in love, in love, in love, oh in love. I can't deny it, I'm in love.
One a.m., eyes closed, I'm slowly falling to the music and the atmosphere. Now and then, I feel lights fading softly all over me, and I remember last year when I was alone in my bed with all these thoughts in my head and living silently inside.
Hey everybody, happy Saturday. It's Saturday, right?
It is Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Way to
Goodness
go.
gracious. Happy Saturday evening live tutorial stream. How's everybody doing wherever you are in the wilds of the internet today? I know it's cold up north. I'm heading to Wisconsin next week and I got a text from my stepmother that it's snowing. What the what? Like, no, exactly. See, Carol right there, she just, expressed the emotions of my very soul. Like, yeah. So anyway, welcome to the Beading Dream Saturday evening live tutorial stream. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. I personally am doing much better than I was doing last night. So everybody who hung out with me on the live sales stream last night while I cried and talked about grief, thank you so much for that support. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And I am a little bit more with it today. So
Laugh a lot today.
they did make me laugh a lot today. It's true. Carol is not wrong. So, what are we doing for you this evening on the live tutorial? And of course, I did not post about this on social media because I got distracted. Sorry, I need to. Huh? Laughing. Yes, I did get distracted laughing. But anyway, so tonight we are doing a live merchandise sale. That is going to start around 7:30 p.m. I'm trying not to destroy Heather with the ring mandrel. So I've got more crystals that we.
I'm on the floor.
Oh, that's good, but it also means if the ring mandrel does fall on you, it's gonna have even more
Oh dear.
physics in its favor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no.
So I'm gonna try real hard not to drop the ring mandrel on Heather. And so what do we have for you tonight on the sale? We've got more crystals and possibly some rando strando, some other gemstone stuff. I'm not completely sure, but
And what else, Allison?
I don't know, Heather.
Shots?
Oh, right. Yes, it is. It's our 2-year stream anniversary, y'all. We've been doing this officially for 2 freaking entire years. Not 3 weeks, but in fact 2 whole years. So we are going to be playing the shot game like we did on Cinco de Mayo on tonight's sales stream. Heather, remind me how that game works.
Well, once we sell 20 things, we transfer the 20 beads from one vessel to the other vessel. Once all 20 are transferred, we take a shot, and the stream gets, I can't remember whether we did an extra 5% or an extra 10%. Depends on how many shots you've already had.
That's fair. Let's go.
Not wrong again.
It's true. Carol is very seldom wrong.
Yeah.
In fact. Okay, so we will be playing the shot game. That means tonight on the sale, the more you buy, the more we drink. The more we drink, the better your discounts are.
Yes.
Tonight. That's pretty much how that game works. And Mary says it's been 3 weeks. She doesn't believe me. I'm also actually gonna say Mary is not wrong, because what is time? It's been 2 years and 3 weeks and 17 years and 4 days and 5 minutes, and it is
And
day.
the Titanic meme.
Yeah.
It's been 84 years.
Like, it really is the 675th day of January 2019. Like, it's still so weird, but we are so incredibly happy and grateful that y'all have been here with us through it all. So I'm gonna start with a tutorial, and then we're gonna get silly on the sale. Which
We
need
don't have any more grapefruit soda, do we? We drank it.
there's some that came with the shaker and spoon box.
True, that we could.
Yeah.
Because if we're doing shots, I feel like we should also be drinking the thing.
That's fair. Okay. Do it. Do the
Okay,
thing.
I'm just-
Do the stuff with the things. Okay, so simple square wire bracelet. This is actually a really fun, pretty slightly fiddly project. So if fiddly projects aren't your thing, this may or may not be your... Hi, Kenneth, it's the cotton... It's the cotton anniversary. I mean, we always need linens. It's true.
I thought it was the tequila anniversary. Who knew?
Well, it's totally it's absolutely the tequila anniversary. So is there, okay, Mary, I have a mission for you. Is there any kind of so you know, anniversaries like paper, cotton, this, that, the third. Is there any like anniversary to liquor analog out there? Just curious. I mean, we have officially declared this the tequila anniversary, but I'm interested to know if we were correct or incorrect in that assumption. But as far as today's project, let's talk about what do you need to make your simple square wire bracelet. So you're gonna need wire. Everyone, that's, you know, it's time to put on your shocked face. So
wait, here?
Yeah. So you need two kinds of wire. You're going to need square wire. Okay, square wire. What the? Where's my focal? That's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, because
I checked that at the same time.
There's no focus happening here. The camera is absolutely not focused. There's no focus going on the stream right now. In so many ways. So anyway, and now y'all are gonna like get to watch me like fight with my camera to make it focus. Okay, that's actually, I did it.
Ooh.
I managed to master the technology.
Lauren, how many shots did you have?
Right? Okay, so you're gonna need square wire. Square wire is called square wire. Yeah, wanna guess why? Because it's square.
I know.
Yeah. So square wire is widthwise the same size as the corresponding gauge in round wire, but I don't think this is the right wire.
What you need?
I need some 20 gauge half round wire. I don't even care what metal. But I'm pretty sure that I have 16 gauge half round wire here, which is not gonna work. Alright, so 20 gauge square wire, so square wire again is the same size as far as width goes as its cylindrical counterpart, but it has 4 corners instead of being a round cylinder. You're also gonna need, what? No, I can't be starting that already this evening. I'm never gonna make it to the end of the sale. Alright, you're gonna need some half round wire. So really you want 20 gauge half round wire. This is 16 gauge half round wire, and so I'm really hoping that Heather can find me some 20 gauge half round because it's going to be so much easier.
Yeah, I can. I don't know where anything but a brand new school proper is, so here it comes.
Okay. So half round wire, just like square wire, is called that because it's describing what it is. So half round is flat on one side and rounded on one side, and so you need 20 gauge half round wire. And again, this is not the right gauge. This is 16 gauge, so this is wider than you need. Heather is being an angel and getting me some 20 gauge half round.
It's brand new, so I'm opening it. I have no idea
we're gonna
where we have filed any other half round wire that is at 14 gauge.
Did you check underneath where the rhinestones are?
No.
I blame Mom.
I started it.
Thank you. So,
I mean, we have a labeled drawer for half round wire.
well, right, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any half round wire in that drawer.
There's that.
All right.
Yeah. Here's lots.
Oh, yay.
What kind do you need?
Whatever kind you want to bring me.
Well, I'm just bringing you the box. So you can
Hi, Corvus. It's a there's a Corvus on the stream.
Sweet. All right, so I've got silver or copper.
Silver. Thank you. All right, so 20 gauge half round wire. We finally, through no fault of Heather's. No, this is totally my mother's fault because she filed things in weird places. So 20 gauge square wire, 20 gauge half round wire. You're gonna also need some 24 gauge just straight up round wire. So this one is just your regular round wire that you have lying around. And then you're going to need some beads. So, right? Oh man. Okay, so as far as beads go, you're gonna need about 5 6mm beads and then 2 beads that are slightly smaller than 6mm. So those should be 4 to 5mm. So I've got 2 smaller pearls and then 5 of my 6mm amethyst beads. Ooh, what? Heather just said ooh. Now I want to know why she's oohing. Oh. Ooh. That is
And we have
exciting.
this orange sparkling water, orange Italian soda that no one is.
Okay.
So.
Ah, hi, Vanishing Pearl.
Oh boy,
Yay.
Vanishing Pearl.
Yes. So what are we doing tonight? We are doing this. We are doing simple square wire wrapped bracelets. So let's talk for just a second about square wire and the fact that square wire wrapped bracelets are really cool looking and an utter pain in the ass to make. Here are your 2 tools that are going to make this utter pain in the ass into a slightly less of a pain in the ass. It's still going to be a pain in the ass, but not as much. So hemostats, preferably the kind with the little rubbery tips that they make for the beading industry, and masking tape or painter's tape. These are seriously 2 things that make a huge difference as far as like the ease with which you can create a bracelet like this. So if we want to look at today's project, so we've got basically 4 square wires and 1 24 gauge round wire. That's what's actually holding our beads. But here's the thing, is one of the square wires is bent in half. That's what actually makes, if you want to look at the very back of that, that's what makes the hook that's going to hold your bracelet together. So that means we need 2 wires that are single length and 1 wire that is double length. As far as how much wire do we cut, this is a really nice square wire project because we don't need to be super precise with our measurements on the front end of this. We can actually cut wire off if we need at the end of the project. Oh, Lord. I love the kazoo emote. That's fantastic. So, figure that for your typical bracelet, for your typical female wrist, and you know, remember typical means average. You can, and this is one of the great things about making your own stuff, you can customize this for yourself. But your typical bracelet for your typical female wrist is going to be approximately 7 inches. I do need to make sure that I put a little bit of extra in there just to, okay, camera, thank you, camera, for focusing on me. Right, so I need to add a little bit of extra in there for bending and whatnot. Again, I can always cut off at the end of this project. So what I'm going to cut in my 20 gauge square wire is going to be 2 8-inch pieces and 1 16-inch piece. So for all of you who are taking notes, Lori, those are your wire measurements for a 7-inch aka an average sized bracelet for a woman. But once again, if you have a larger than average wrist, then you can, you know, adjust this wire number upwards. If you have a smaller than average wrist, you can adjust this wire number downwards. Now, I will advise that, you know, and I realize that sterling silver and gold-filled wire are not super reasonably priced at the moment, so you do want to be precise with your measurements. Like, I get that, but if you're uncertain about how much wire you need, cut yourself a little bit of extra. I promise you that you will have way less heartache from cutting too much wire than you will have from not cutting enough wire. Ask me how I know. How do you think I know? Because I've done it. Okay, so that was my 2 8-inch pieces, and I'm going to cut 1 16-inch piece. Your hair is up and very, like... I've been watching season 2 of Bridgerton, so your hair is very Bridgerton right now.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. So maybe you're going to marry a duke.
Ooh!
Or a viscount.
I don't want a baron. That's just beneath me.
Well, that's
But there
totally
are still
fair.
earls and marquises.
Okay, so I've got 2 8-inch pieces, 1 16-inch piece of my 20 gauge square wire. Now I'm gonna grab my 24 gauge Duke Earl or Duke of Earl.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Wow.
I'm okay, Mary, if you ditch me to watch Bridgerton, I will not judge you at all, because
I might a little bit. Because we're really cool and it's an anniversary.
well, that's fine, but have you seen Bridgerton? There are so many pretty people. And pretty scenery.
We have 100%
and pretty
people
costumes.
too.
And okay, I'm sorry, but the wardrobe in Bridgerton is way better than mine.
True.
It's true. Yeah, I know. Vanishing Pearl. I watched season 1, or not season 1. Well, of course I watched season 1, but I watched episode 1 this morning, and then I had to decide if I was going to come to work or continue to watch the rest of the season. And yes, obviously, you know what I picked? I picked you guys. I picked you all over Bridgerton season 2 with pretty people and pretty dresses and pretty scenery and pretty jewels, and I'm starting to regret my decision.
I mean, with my off-shoulder.
Well, nobody can see you right now,
I
so
know.
you're gonna have to debut your off-the-shoulder eyelet lace ensemble on the sales stream.
But I'm gonna watch some shot classes for us.
Cool. Woohoo! Vanishing Pearl's gonna come work for us. That's awesome.
Yay!
Only if you bring a kazoo. So, I'm gonna start with my 16-inch piece of 20 gauge square wire, and I am going to rather mundanely begin my tutorial by finding and marking the middle of said wire. Except what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna begin my tutorial by finding a marker. There's a highlighter. That's really not helpful. Dry erase marker, also not helpful. Sharpie. Is there a Sharpie in the house? Is there really? Ah! Found it. Vanishing Pearl, if you want to come, like, organize my shit, that is a service I could sorely use. Does it have to be square wire? Corvus asks. Not necessarily, but to get the look, to get this kind of blingy, sort of tailored look that you see on the sample, that is the square wire. And it's not just the square wire, but it is the square wire being properly used. So can you make this bracelet with round wire? Absolutely. Is it going to look the same? No, it isn't. So I've got my that is a lovely offer, Mary. I feel like you might just run away in horror, though, at some point, with when being presented with this mountain of disorganization. Well, I mean, I will Vanishing Pearl, but I will have to warn you that I pay crap.
She pays the best she can.
I pay the best I can, which unfortunately is,
But part of our pay is in beads, which I don't feel like is going to be a
yeah, don't try
detriment.
and walk over here. 'Cause
I'm
there's
not. I'm
stuff on the
taking
floor.
this.
Okay. I mean, I play upon the bead addiction of my employees and impose upon their good nature and compensate them with beads and food.
Yes.
I also feed them.
Yes.
Like, not all the time, but sometimes.
Often enough.
So, this is my 16-inch piece of my square wire. So again, that's my double length piece. I'm going to find the middle of that, which is 8 inches. I'm going to mark it. And this is what's going to become the hook part of my... Hi, Megan! You will have a load of fun, except for those days when your boss comes into work completely crying her eyes out. But, you know, doesn't that happen at every job? It doesn't.
That wasn't your fault.
Hi, Tanya! Yay! Awesome. What are you making for dinner? I'm curious, just because I'm hungry. Okay, so I've got my center marked. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab with my chain nose pliers next to my center, and I'm going to bend like so to get a slightly more acute than 90-degree bend. And then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to compress that bend to make a fold like so. Now, I did that pretty quickly, and that's because I'm fairly used to working with, sorry, my hands are very dirty, working with square wire. But here's the thing about square wire, and this is what makes it such a delightful... Ooh, Monterey Jack unfried chicken. That sounds good. So is it, so that sounds like it's like a Jack and breadcrumb, like breaded chicken that's maybe then, like, you know, baked in the oven instead of fried. And if so, that sounds really delicious, and now I'm super jealous. So anyway, Tanya's making chicken, okay? Like, I can be jealous.
You can't.
So here's the thing about square wire that that makes it such a great material, and also such an infernally frustrating material, is it looks best if you keep it, which, by the way, notice my finger has not fallen off yet. There's no glue-on nail on it, so we're going to ignore that, but it's stopped bleeding, and it's not seeping, and it's, as far as I know, not infected. So I have survived both my slashing and my smashing of my fingers. Oh, thank you, Beverly. Yeah, no, I actually I glued a new nail on top of it, but you can still see the bruise through the nail. Like, you can totally see where I smashed myself with the hammer. Oy lordy. So, when you're working with square wire, keeping your sides flat is, in my opinion, oh hell yes. I am the Neosporin generation. Like, we've talked about this on stream, and I promise I'm going to get back to this project, and we are going to freaking finish this before the sale. But yes, I am the Neosporin generation. Neosporin and a little bit Bactine. And then my father's generation, and this is what they like to sorry. Megan broke me for a second there. I will do it on a free form, Megan, because now that I'm going to do Fridays from home, that means all my bottle cutting stuff and my gloves will be there. But yeah, no, Neosporin is the best. My dad and his siblings have many stories to tell about methylate, which is apparently also known as mercurochrome. And that was like the thing when they got hurt when they were kids. That's what they used. So Lori is as ever observant. I just evened out the ends. I don't quite know if I cut the wrong length or if I measured the wrong length, but yeah, I had one end that was 1 inch or so longer than the other, and that's not what we want. Yeah, no, we never used peroxide. It thankfully, like, Neosporin. I'm a Neosporin girl, always have been, always will be, and it's worked well for me. I've never been to the hospital with sepsis or gangrene, and that is more than my father and his siblings can say. So this was my 16-inch piece that I bent in half. I've got my ends parallel. This is going to be my hook and the center of my bracelet, and yes, Vanishing Pearl. This is the 16-inch length bent in half. Now, this is where we get to, never been in the hospital, oh lordy. That's one that, like, is if I make that into a button, I would have to, like, share it with my family, except I think I'm the only one in my family who could legitimately wear that button, because everyone else, God, there are so many stories from my father's youth and all of my aunts and uncles' youth about, like, they're like, oh, the little red line, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's, like, they make scary movies and shit about that. So, now we're going to start using our tools. We're going to start using our painter's tape and our hemostat. So, hi, Barbara. Okay, so what I've got is I've got my 16-inch that's bent in half. I've got my round wire. Okay, this is just my straight up 24 gauge round wire. This is the least special wire in this whole procedure. That's gonna go down the middle of my bent in half piece. Okay, like so. Right, so I've got that 24 gauge down the middle, and then my other two pieces are gonna go on the outside. And this is where, once again, I oftentimes wish that I had an extra hand that would just sort of extend from my stomach so I could hold these and hold this and hold this all at the same time. But what I'm doing with my pieces of 20 gauge squares, I'm just kind of straightening them out. Like so. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line all of this business up. So I've got my 24 gauge that goes in the middle of my folded in half piece of 20 gauge square, and then I've got one 20 gauge square on the outside of that and one 20 gauge square on the other side. So I'm going to take these pieces and I'm just going to bump them down a little bit, because this right here, this little nose, is going to be my hook. So I'm just going to bring everything down there, and then I can clip it all with my hemostat like so. And the hemostat is great because it's going to hold everything nice and parallel. Now we're going to grab our 20 gauge half round wire. Now, how much 20 gauge half round wire do you need to complete this project? Probably about a foot or two. You know, it's one of those things where you can be conservative with it or you cannot be conservative with it. The fact of the matter is that 20 gauge half round wire isn't that expensive, so if you're, you know, buying specifically for this project, you know, don't be conservative in your buying. Like, buy an extra foot. I promise what you spend in money, you will gain, you will reap back in peace of mind. Also, hey everybody who just joined us, there's a bunch of you out there now, so thanks so much for hanging out with us on the Beading Dreams stream. This is still our simple square wire bracelet tutorial because I am running a little bit late tonight because it's our 2-year stream anniversary. So we did start the evening off with tequila shots to celebrate our 2-year stream anniversary. We will be continuing the festivities with our bead shot drinking game on our live merchandise sale, which is going to start about 30 minutes after the end of this tutorial, which I'm guessing is going to be about 7:45. Now, we had a question of about how far from the end of the hook are the 2 8-inch square wires, and the answer is about a ½ inch. Lori, 3-hour stream. No! Corvus, it's going to be hopefully a 2-hour sales stream once I finish this tutorial. Corvus is trying to kill me.
What is she?
She's suggesting a 3-hour stream. No,
3 hours.
that's not what I said.
2 hours for 2nd anniversary.
Yeah, that's not what I said, Corvus. You are hearing things.
Perhaps a 3-hour sale next year. We'll have to prepare.
I'll have to take like a week off before and a week off after.
We could do a 3-hour sale instead of a tutorial.
That's fair. Okay, but right now I'm still doing a tutorial. So, this is my half-round wire. This is the 20 gauge half-round wire that Heather got me because she's an angel from above. So,
I'm an angel straight from heaven.
not with that accent, you're not. Alright, so when you're dealing with half-round wire, it's really important to be able to identify what's the flat side and what's the round side. Okay, so I'm going to start with my chain nose pliers and I'm going to grab right at the... Oh, fuck! Corvus?
For 5 years.
No, that's not happening next year. No.
No, we need more streamers in our...
I was gonna say, yeah, no, I actually, so, I've been a party to a number of 24-hour streams, not on the Beading Dreams stream, but, through relationships I have with other entities, and, yeah, no, okay, Corvus, if we're gonna do a 24-hour stream, you need to fly your ass here and help us with it. That's my condition. If Corvus flies here to Dallas for next year's stream anniversary, then we will have a 24-hour stream. At this particular moment, Heather is like sneaking out the door and she's gonna run away.
The door has bells on it. You can't sneak out.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna finish this project now. So I've got my half-round wire, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my the end of my wire with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to make a little J hook. Now, when you're doing this J hook, you want to make sure that the flat side of the wire is on the inside of the curve. Now, okay, I mean, I said it, Corvus. If you come here, we will do a 24-hour stream.
All I have to do is not take my sleep meds, and I could do a 24-hour stream.
So, you know, there we go. It's a challenge now for next year. Okay, so I've got my J hook, and what I'm going to do is I've got my wires that are all currently held together with my hemostat, and I'm going to hook my J hook about 3/8 of an inch or so from the ends of my wire. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so Heather's committing. So, and okay, so now I'm gonna,
Do your thing now.
committing is not the same as committed. So I'm gonna wrap this around 3 or 4 times. So, for anybody who doesn't know, I am heading to Wisconsin next week. because my grandmother is not well, and so I have to go visit her. And Heather has stepped up to run some streams next week, so we do have Zoom Crafty Cocktail Time. That's next Friday. Heather will be running that, and she has just committed in writing in the chat to a Freeform Wednesday and an AMA stream. So there will be fun things happening on the Beading Dreams stream next week, but they will not be tutorials. Okay, so I wrapped around 4 times. Now I can get rid of my hemostat. I can cut this end off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose and I'm going to smash all of those little ends flat. I have no idea what my schedule, thank you, Tanya. I have no idea what my schedule is going to be like on Friday. If I am free, I will jump on the Zoom, but I don't know that I will be. All right, I'm going to smash that all flat. And ideally, when I smash that flat, everything should stay lined up with all my edges aligned. Ah, wait, what? What happened, Megan? That's funny. I mean, what happened, Megan, is not funny, but the autocorrect is funny. Okay, so I've got my wrap there, and this is the front side of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, okay, so the good and bad thing about this is these are all pretty much mobile at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one up to make it even with the other, and then I'm going to just push and scooch that wire wrap up. So what I want is I want just a little bit here, and we're gonna take that with our chain nose, and we're just gonna bend that up and over. And what I want to do to make this so that it's not going to be scratchy is I want to take that end and bend it so that the scratchy part is facing down and pressed against the wires that are already there. I'm going to do the same for my other one. So I'm just going to take that, bring it over, and down. And then I want to do the same for this piece of 24 gauge wire, and I screwed up. So if you'll notice, like my ends are on this side, this wire's on this side, which is technically the front side of my bracelet. So all I'm gonna do to correct that is I'm just gonna give it a couple of wraps around, and then trim it off. All right, well, Diane's apparently in for a 24-hour stream. I feel like I may have gotten us into trouble. She's not answering me. It's because she ran away.
Sorry, I'm typing.
It's okay. I think you're just fleeing me and my lofty
No, I'll be here.
stream ambitions. Alright, so that's my end. Now I'm going to go to, and this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky. I know everyone's like, this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky, but I swear. You know, the rest of this is pretty elementary, but what I need is I need to find the middle of my bracelet, and then I need to back up by half the length of my center section. So if you look at the project photo, you've got 7 beads in your center section. So obviously you want the center of that grouping of beads to be the center of your bracelet. So if I'm using 6mm beads plus 2 4mm beads, it's about 1 1.25 inches. Half of 1 1.25 inches is 3/4. No, slightly less than 3/4 of an inch. And so I'm gonna find the middle of my bracelet, which means that 8 inches from the bend in my hook to the center of, or sorry, not 8 inches, 4 inches from the bend in my hook to the center of my bracelet. 4 inches for an 8-inch bracelet, 3.5 inches for a 7-inch bracelet. Make sure all of your wires are in order. That is important. And then grab, once again, your trusty hemostat and clip everything together. So what your hemostats and your tape will do for you, and I do tend to favor hemostats over tape just because they're a little bit sturdier, is they're going to hold everything together. And as far as size goes for beads for this project, Megan, 6mm is a good size. I would stick with that. If you go too much bigger than 6mm, you're going to need to adjust the lengths of your wire upwards, because your wire has to go outwards to accommodate your beads. So the farther out it goes, the more wire you're going to need. So now we're going to, once again, grab your half round wire and make a little J, and then hook that J on your wire, and we're going to wrap it around 4 times. And we want to make sure when we're wrapping that the flat side of the wire is towards the inside of our wraps. Okay, this is pretty much, whenever you're working with half round wire, something that you need to pay attention to is when you're working with half round, you always want the flat side to be on the inside of whatever curve you're making. Trim your end off. At this point, you can get rid of your hemostat, and then we're going to take our chain nose and we're going to flatten that down. Now it's time to add our beads, which means that we are going to need to bend our wires outward. So we're going to take our square wires and we're going to bend one out and bend the other out so that they're kind of, you know, nestling against each other. We're going to do the same with the other two, and then this center wire, our 24 gauge wire, is what's going to hold our beads. I'm going to go ahead and string all my beads on there. So we've got our small bead, and then our 5 larger beads, which once again are about 6mm in size. And then our other smaller bead. Okay, so this is the center section of our bracelet, which is awesome. So if you're using 6mm beads, like I said, you shouldn't need to change your wire amount at all, but it would indeed. I don't know that there's anything, I mean, I'm wearing some myself, so the iridescent assembled quartz is really pretty in almost everything. So What I need to do now is I need to take these side wires and I need to bend them in so that they frame the beads that I just added. So we're going to do that in reverse order from how we bent them out. So when we bent them out, we bent the outer one and then the inner one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bend the inner one. And so what I want to do is I just want to grab it and I want to bring it back so that I have just enough space for my beads to sit. And then I'm going to take my second wire and I want to just mirror that shape like so. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and if you are extremely right hand dominant like myself, the easiest way to do this is to actually literally flip your piece over to the back side, and then you can do exactly the same motion. So we're going to put that one in and that one in. Alright, so there's our frame and around our beads. Now what we need to do is we need to mirror this on the other side. So we're going to just, and if you find that, like I just did, you bent your beads a little bit too narrow, just pop your, your wires a little too narrow, just pop your beads up top of your wires, and you'll have that loveliness going on, which is fantastic. Now we're going to take this, we're going to mirror this on the other side. So I'm going to say, okay, here is about where this needs to happen. So again, we're going to bend our inner wires so that they cross. Again, we want them to kind of nestle in with each other. Like so. Repeat with your other side of wires. Make sure you're paying attention to which wire is actually the inside wire and which is the outside wire, because they do like to try and cross at this point. Alright, once you've got them all bent across like this so they just look like a giant, huge mess, we're going to straighten everything up so that it all meets again in the middle, and that is going to happen like so with our chain nose. And ideally, if I did this all right, everything should come back together in the middle here, which it does. And now we're gonna figure out what the actual heck we did with our hemostat, and we're gonna go ahead and clip everything together, and then we're gonna bind that together. Apparently, Corvus's dogs are communicating with her in Morse code. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bind that together. We're apparently going to also smash the camera. I unjade my J. There. Okay, sorry. I don't think I can do this under the camera and have it actually be successful. So when you got your J hook, just make sure that it's narrow, narrow enough to grab, but wide enough that you can actually hook it. So go ahead and open that up a bit, and well, you're sweet, Pearl, because I feel like I'm slow at it because it's 7:24, and I'm supposed to start my sale at 7:30, which is 6 minutes from now, which is obviously not going to happen. But the point is, it's all about the practicing. Like, and this is something that when I first started trying to do, that was not the right button, square wire wrapping, I really didn't get as, like, yes, I completely popped my left thumbnail off. The glue-on one, not the actual one. But yeah, it's just about practice. It's about getting comfortable with the wire. It's about getting comfortable with how everything works. And yeah, all right. So I did my. Okay, fair. I feel like Heather's calling me out. All right, I'm gonna trim this. I'm gonna press everything down. I mean, you're right, of course, but I'm extra late tonight because this tutorial was a little bit more complicated than I thought. All right, so yeah, that needs to get tucked in. Seriously. Okay, and then last binding is 6mm Amy, and then 4mm. So 5-6mm to 4 or 5mm. Then I'm going to replicate this distance here, which is 2 5/8. At this point, the positioning of this wire is not super important, but you do want to kind of maintain a consistency of look. All right, it's 2 5/8. Clip with your hemostat, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bind those there. So again, to do my binding, I'm going to make a J hook in my wire, and then I'm going to hook that over top of my wires, and then I'm just going to bind 3 or 4 times. And I seem to be on a 4 times binding spree for this particular bracelet, so 4 times it is. Alright, so there's my 4 binding. At this point, I can get rid of my hemostat. A couple of things I have to worry about here. I want to kind of snug down that very first binding. I can crimp everything flat with my chain nose. Hopefully that gets everything laying nicely. And then of course I do need to trim off my binding wire. So, and then smash that flat as well. Now it's time for almost everything to get cut off. So, all my wires can get bent down except for one. Okay, so one of these center wires I'm going to save, but everything else is going to get bent down against my binding wire and trimmed off. And then just like I did on my first side, I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. I'm just going to bend the ends of these down so that they are pressing against my bracelet and not, you know, sticking out where they're going to stab me or someone else. Pardon me while I be OCD for just a moment and try and get the 2 sides of this bracelet to match. Okay, so now that I've got everything bound together and I've got my nice little bead stick going on here, I'm going to grab a mandrel. So if you have a bracelet mandrel, great. If you don't have a bracelet mandrel, grab a found object of any type. This one I think is a little bit big, actually. I'm going to use my torch. So take your bracelet and starting with the wrap that's right next to this part that's going to become your hook. You're just going to wrap that around your mandrel. Obviously you want your beads to be on the outside of that. You're probably going to have to do a little bit of finger shaping. Like so. And now we're ready to actually make our closure. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to take this one remaining wire. Okay, so remember on this side we bent down all of our wires except for one. And I'm just going to bring that over and then roll it around with my round nose to make a loop. And this is going to turn into a hook. The way that that works is I'm going to bring my end up and then I'm going to move my pliers down a bit and I'm going to bend that over like so. So thank you, Corvus. It's practice. It really is. Practice is all that it is. Like the more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. And it doesn't start out easy, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't necessarily get, is that you gotta go through the ugly to get to the pretty, okay? You really do have to just power through the crappy looking stuff that you make when you first start this, and eventually you will get to the point where it is legitimately easy and actually possibly even fun. So all right, so that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the stream for a little bit of extra time. Yeah, Lori, here's the hook. So I just bent the, so if you imagine that this was straight out, I bent the end up and then I grabbed with my chain, or not chain nose, round nose, and I bent that underneath, and that is my hook attachment. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the Beading Dream stream for the simple square wire wrapped bracelet. Yes, I realize it took a little bit of extra time, but it was a fun project, and absolutely we do sell the wire. Barbara, we sell the 20 gauge square and the 20 gauge half round as well. I do have 20 gauge square in gold filled and 20 gauge half round in sterling silver. So we are going to be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream. I'm going to try and hustle my buns and get us back on stream as soon as possible with our live merchandise sale. We are going to be selling crystals tonight and some gemstones and probably rando strandos. I haven't quite decided yet, but I really need to decide quickly because we'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, in about 15 or 20 minutes with the live merchandise sale. If you're not going to join us for the sale, thanks so much for hanging out with us for the tutorial. We are going to be mostly dark next week. Now, Heather has committed to a freeform stream, an AMA stream, and Zoom on Friday night, so you will not be utterly without Beading Dreams next week, but we will not have any formally scheduled tutorials because I am going to be out of town. But you can find us back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, in just 15 or 20 minutes or so with our live merchandise sale. We are celebrating our 2-year stream anniversary, and we are doing a stepped discount based on how many things people buy. There's also going to be a drinking game based on how many things people buy. So tune in just 15 or 20 minutes to see Heather and I get really silly on stream.
We're going to get silly even if you don't buy anything.
That is true. Thank you, Barbara. And again, if you're not going to join us for the sale, we'll see you back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, for some freeform streams next week. And then I'll be back with my regular tutorials the following week. But of course, don't forget, like, come on, you can see us in 20 minutes. Grab yourself a cocktail. Grab yourself a snack. Grab yourself some hydration. Get comfy, get cozy, and get ready for some retail bead therapy in the comfort of your living room, office, or wherever you watch the Beading Dream stream. So I will see you guys back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, very soon. Bye. Bye.